Oh, Brent. Sorry, I didn't see. Hey, you out there? I didn't see you either. Sorry about that. I was using my JBLs to check out the brand new Yes single, Aurora.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. What do you
Yep,
think?
yep. And well, you know what? That's why I invited you to tune in here or to join me in a discussion here because I know you're a lifelong Yes fan. I'm a lifelong Yes fan, and so
New
yeah,
single,
got a
new
new
single,
song, new
Aurora,
single, Aurora from
Aurora,
the forthcoming album of the same name, Aurora.
June 12th, Aurora.
Ti-
But we have
makes
Aurora now. It's the title track.
right. It makes it a a title track. This would be Underlord's Universe. Welcome. If you've never joined us here before, thanks for tuning in.
Welcome.
My brother and I are part of a creative conclave known as the Underlords of the Overworld, and we write and record music on our own. And we've been inspired by Yes, but we don't sound anything like them. Can't play like them either. But like I said, we've been lifelong Yes fans, and excited to hear some new Yes music. So this new song, it's kind of I don't remember how many minutes it clocks in at. What does it clock in at? It's a
Um, it's a lengthy piece. What is it? Around 9 minutes, maybe something like that.
seven and a half.
Okay.
7.5 minutes. 7 minutes and 25 seconds. So it's
So,
not, it's not like, a huge epic. It's not like the 15 to 20 minute pieces. It's not a full, so, but it does go through some different, you know, um, bits and bobs, so to speak.
transition.
Yeah. But you know what? Here's the thing. And I don't want to get into a huge discussion about this point yet because I think we could do a whole episode on this. But the big thing is this really Yes? There are no original members, which is true. Steve Howe is the kind of mainstay classic member who joined on the third album, the Yes album. So there are no original members. John Anderson isn't there. There's no Wakeman. Oh my gosh, is this really Yes? So, first, your thought on that, and then we'll get that taken care of out of the way, and then let's delve into the song itself.
All right. Well, no pun intended, but yes, this is Yes. And I say that for a couple reasons. Number one, if you look at the record cover, it has the classic Yes logo on it.
Hmm.
Therefore, it's a Yes record. Much like Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, Howe was ABWH, it was not a Yes record. That's my very simplistic look at it. It has the logo on it. It's what it is.
Okay.
Um, quite frankly, don't care what it's called. Whether I like it or not is a different matter because there are Yes albums that are out there that I don't particularly care for. And there are a lot of Yes albums that I really love. So for me, it's a Yes record in that respect. And also, you mentioned Steve Howe earlier, and I will go so far as to say this. Right now, I think it's probably pretty obvious that Steve is kind of in charge of what's going on with Yes.
Yeah.
If Steve considers it to be a Yes record, who am I to criticize his judgment? He's in the band.
He is.
Longtime Yes keyboardist Jeff Downs is in this incarnation of the group.
He is.
Um, so there's that pedigree. Jay Shellen is with the group and he's been with them. I mean, he was playing live gigs with them and working with them while Alan was in a state of decline. So he's been with them for a very long time.
Yes.
John is vocalist for over 10 years.
And
So,
and a writer
yeah,
contributing to now, if you can include the upcoming Aurora album, to four albums.
yeah. So I
Um,
would
and then
say,
and Billy Sherwood's nothing to sneeze at. You know.
well, Billy was like basically Chris's hand-picked replacement. I mean, those two guys worked together in
Yeah.
conspiracy, and Billy's basically like was one of Chris's best friends, writing
Yeah.
partners. So
And, Bi-
and Billy, the first one of the first times we saw Yes was on the Ladder tour, and Billy
yep,
was with them.
that's right. And his involvement with the S goes all the way back to the material that led up to the Union
Yeah, for the early
stuff. So
'90s.
yeah.
Yeah, is it's in for my money, it's yes. Obviously, if you disagree, let us know in the comments what you think. But
Yeah.
you brought
But to that point though, I'd say the focus of this is the new song.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we will explore that issue of is yes really yes in more depth. Obviously, you know our basic answer here. I agree with you. It's yes. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So Aurora, the new
So,
song. How many times have you listened to it?
you know what? It's been out for a couple weeks now,
Right.
and I've listened to it not every day, um, but I've listened to it maybe every four, 3 to 4
Okay.
days.
Yeah, that's good.
So, whatever that comes down to. I did just listen to it again today. Um, what I think is interesting about this is it looks to me, from what sources I've looked at, it looks like it's getting a really good response.
Yeah.
Um, the video on YouTube, if you just scroll through the comments,
Yeah.
it actually takes a long time to find a negative comment, and I find that interesting. In fact, I read one person's comment on the video that said, I was one of these people that didn't, that wouldn't give him a chance without John Anderson, but I heard this and I had to admit it was great. And then the guy said, I went back and listened to, Mirror to the Sky and The Quest and was like, wow, I've been missing out. And it's like, okay, I mean, and that kind of gets to my thing. It's, with respect to is it yes or not? Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's music. And it's like, whatever you call it, it's a label, it's a brand, it's whatever. And I'm not trying to downplay those things. They're important, but at the end of the day, it's like when you put the music on, does it resonate with you?
Right.
So, did this song resonate with you right away? Does it not resonate with you? Did it grow on you? What was your initial impression of it?
My initial impression was kind of lukewarm. Um, I didn't dislike it or like it particularly. It had to grow on.
Okay.
So, and I intentionally tried to avoid watching any reviews or comments on it to try because I wanted to go into it just on my own without hearing any other opinions. So my first thought when I listened to it was, okay, it's different. It wasn't what I expected. I don't know what I expected, but that wasn't it, if that makes sense. The
Okay.
video I didn't expect. The what I gather the song is about based on the lyrics in the video was not what I expected. It's not the type of song that Yes normally writes, if I'm interpreting it correctly, because I think there are different ways you can interpret it. And as you know, I'm not particularly a lyric guy, I'm more of a melody guy. But I think in this case, the video had me thinking a little bit more about the lyrics
Hmm.
because I had the visual, which kind of pulled me in because I think it is a good video. But it had to grow on me. At first, I thought, okay, it's all right. It's okay. I was like, okay, there was some stuff on Mirror to the Sky that I think was a lot better than that. But as I listened to it a few more times, it kind of grew on me and grew on me a little bit more. And I became a little bit more critical of parts of it and a little bit more enamored with parts of it. Like, for example, I think there's a lot of fantastic drum work in this song. And I think the bass
Hmm.
work is phenomenal. And the tone is very much like Chris's bass tone.
Yeah.
And Steve, nobody else sounds like Steve Howe. Even as he's almost 80 years old, he still
Hmm.
sounds really good and is playing some nice, intricate guitar parts. And Jeff's keyboards, and there's like orchestration, whether that's full
It,
orchestration or whether it's
no,
keys. I don't.
it's full orchestra. It's the Czech National
Okay.
Orchestra.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that added another layer to it.
Hmm.
So I think, and there's some nice parts to it. I love the chorus, and if I'm going a little bit, if I'm kind of straying away from your initial question, I
No,
apologize.
that's fine.
I think the chorus is really, really catchy. I love John's voice in the chorus. I think his voice is produced really well in the chorus. I think his voice could be produced a little bit better in the verses, his voice is so light and airy. If I had been in production, I think I might have wanted to do something to give it a little bit more gravitas, a little bit more heft. Not that it sounds bad, but it sounds a little bit dry. So there are parts of the track that are a little bit dry production wise. But I love when I heard the chorus the first time. I loved the chorus. I think
Okay.
his the melody, the chorus is simple, but the vocal is really on point. It's a beautiful melody. I think it's a very nice song. I've said a lot. If I were going to, you and I grade songs on 1 to 5 stars.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Yeah.
Right now I'd probably give it a 4.
Okay.
Um, I like it more every time I listen to it. Um, and does it sound like yes to me? Yes and no, because it's I don't know that there's any other song that they've done, any incarnation of the band has done that's really like this. But then again, you and I have
Yeah.
talked about how yes is they're always changing it. It is perpetual change.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it sounds different, but it still has the Chris Squire bass tone, the Steve Howe guitar tone.
Mhm.
It's got, Jeff's keyboards. It's got John's vote. I mean, so yeah, it sounds like yes, but it sounds like a different kind of yes, if that makes
Yeah, and
sense.
I agree with your perpetual change comment. Although interestingly enough, I actually think that this song, it's the only thing we've heard from this album. I do think that this song, as well as Mirror to the Sky and The Quest, do have a continuity of sound, probably because they're all produced by Steve.
Yes.
And so it's kind of funny. I kind of agree with you in the sense that it sounded different, but it sounded familiar all at the same time. And it's kind of hard to explain that, but that's kind of my kind of visceral reaction to it. Um,
What
you
did you think
mentioned,
of when you heard the intro? The intro. Sorry to interrupt you, but the intro. What were your initial thoughts
okay,
when you heard the?
so I'm gonna. Here's the thing about this. Like I said, it seems like a lot of people are really digging this song. You know, a lot of people commenting on YouTube on the video in really positive terms. I did just before we zoomed in here. I did just check out some of the bigger YouTubers out there, like the Prog Report and stuff. And there's a couple out there that are really talking this up, and some people are really liking it. I didn't at first. And I'm not, as you can tell, if you're still watching us, you've probably noticed that we consider this yes. We're not in the camp that says it's not yes without John Anderson or whatever. Um, I wasn't sold on this right away. I don't want to say I don't want to give the impression that I like disliked it necessarily on the whole. There were parts that I did like. I agree with you. The chorus is good. I do have some issues with the song though. So um, issues with the song. Boy, that sounds important, doesn't it? But you asked me like the intro, right? So okay. I think the orchestral intro works really well, and it goes it feeds right into that guitar line at about what, a minute and 20 seconds in, that Steve comes in with the guitar line
Hmm.
almost perfectly. But to what extent do I like it is a different question. It sounds to me, to my taste, a little too theatrical, and dare I say, a little too Disney.
I was going to ask you that. That was exactly the word I had. Disney.
I'm not a huge fan of that. And now that doesn't mean it's bad. It's actually very good, I think. Um, but this does lead to, you mentioned the melody and the chorus specifically.
Hmm.
And generally, I agree with that. But I want to kind of backtrack a little bit to some of the melodic elements of the verses and the pre-chorus specifically. And I think this also relates to what you were saying about John's voice. He's a really good singer. He's a great fit for the band. I think he's an interesting guy, an interesting writer. I really like the fact that when you look at these modern Yes records, they really are band albums, you know.
Yeah,
Everybody's contributing. And in fact, I believe Jay Shallon actually has a writing credit on this upcoming album too, which is,
great.
you know, not that is normal for drummers. So I'm really glad to see that. So I love this kind of collaborative nature of the band. And I think John brings a lot to that. But I think that at times he can tend to be a little wordy. And one of the difficulties that I have when you put a lot of syllables and a lot of words
Yeah,
into a verse, it makes it difficult to find that melody, the melodic hook. And it also then makes it more difficult to find those spaces in the melody where you can really enhance them with harmonies.
yep,
Because if you're doing a lot of words, it's with a lot of, you know, that gets a little difficult.
yeah,
Um, the and that I think is especially true on the pre-chorus here. But in the verse, there's a, you know, the lines that say like in a whisper psalms of light ever carry clear, elevate to virtue wise, calming vital signs, O harbinger, bring balance to the tides coursing through my life. That's a lot.
come on, yeah,
It's a lot. And I couldn't help, I still can't, as many times as I've heard this, what, eight or 10 times now. When he sings the line, tides coursing through my life, it really feels like Disney to me. Um, and 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 some people love that. I mean, I don't want to digress too much, but you know, I'm not a fan of Dream Theater's album The Astonishing because it sounds very Disneyfied to me. There are some
sure.
people out there who love that record. Um, so, you know, it's not a matter of is it good or is it bad. It's a perfectly fine melodic part of the verse. It's just not quite as much to my liking in that spot. But we're talking about a 7.5 minute tune, right?
Right,
You know,
yeah,
I don't, I don't hear one thing that I maybe don't like quite so much and go, oh my gosh, I just hate the whole song because of that. I'm not, you know, not going to do that.
right.
I think the pre-chorus has the same kind of issue with that. Everything we see from inside, every way to be free inside ourselves. Everything I seek is inside. Everything I long for is inside myself, despite myself. And I think if they had kind of truncated, trimmed down some of that and tried to say, okay, how can we say this with fewer words? I think it would have actually made the pre-chorus more powerful. Because one of the problems that I have with the song, again, problems is I'm overstating this, but the verse goes into the pre-chorus, goes into the chorus without much of a breath.
No, you're right.
And I think that there's strong enough music there and strong enough melodic elements that I think that some of it could have actually been enhanced and highlighted a little bit more with a little bit more restraint in some of those spots. As far as the chorus, I agree with you. I think it's actually a really strong chorus. Although, you know, and everybody knows, well, I shouldn't say everybody knows, people have different views, but, you know, a lot of people say that Steve isn't the greatest vocalist, and I don't think he's really obviously featured here. But what I would have liked to have heard on the chorus is a bigger a bigger harmonized presence. I mean, the second time they say Aurora, it is harmonized,
Right.
and Billy does that kind of you know that response part, kind of that descending Aurora
Mhm.
line. But I think that if they had really utilized Billy, John, and Steve just to bolster that melody just a little bit more, just to make it a little bigger, um, you know, but I mean, I'm nitpicking there. It's just because I like the chorus quite a bit, you know, and it's like, oh, I would like that to be just a little bigger somehow, you know. But who knows? I mean, maybe they experimented with different elements of the harmonies in there, and maybe they, you know, in listening to different takes and different mixes of it, maybe they just said, you know, that doesn't, you know, this is the right way to do it. So I'm not trying to knock something for what it isn't. I always try to just, you know, kind of evaluate something based on what it is rather than what it's not. Um, so I think just a little wordy. I think that there might have been some opportunities to just let it breathe a little more. That's those are my big, you know, negatives, if you want to call them negatives.
Well, I think that's
Uh,
one of the reasons I gravitated to the chorus because it is not wordy, it is melodic,
right.
it's catchy. The chorus
Yeah.
is catchy. You know, it's almost even poppy a
Oh,
little bit.
very. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the rest of the
Um,
song. So it's an interesting way they kind of weave this stuff together because there's a lot going on, and like you said, and maybe in the verses and the pre-choruses, if they would have truncated, you know, the lyrics a little bit, it might have given the music a little bit more of an opportunity to shine through or and breathe a little bit better.
yeah.
And yeah, I hadn't really thought about that, but you're actually right. I agree with that.
The flip side though, and John, might be the kind of guy that says, you know what though, I pick the words that I want to use for a reason, and I want those words all in there. And one of the things I really like about a band like Yes doing what they're doing the way they're doing it is because they're saying this is our vision. This is the music we want to write and we want to record. And they don't have outside people telling them, what to do or what not to do. And people can argue about whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but at the end of the day, there's kind of an artistic honesty about it that I like, even if there's some things that I hear that I would, you know, maybe like to hear a little differently. I still respect that, and I think that's a great thing about what they're doing. So, um, I
It's
also
honest, it's
say what?
genuine,
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
It's not contrived. It's them doing what they want to do,
mhm,
clearly. So, in that respect, I have to honor that. And might there have been some things that I would have done a little bit differently? Maybe. But like you
yeah,
said, maybe they tried different things and maybe they didn't sound as well as they wanted them to. You have to think, okay, at the end of the day, this was the best version of this song that they had to offer. And so, yeah,
yeah. Now I'm gonna say, when I first heard it, I probably would have given it 3 out of 5 stars. You mentioned Mirror to the Skies having some tracks, and I think the title track on Mirror to the Sky is awesome. I mean, this is a band. This lineup of this band is is a solid lineup, and I'm really looking forward to the what to hearing the rest of this album. I think that over the last week or two, I think I have grown to like Aurora a little more. So I think I'd probably bump that up to a 3.5. Um, but if there's one thing I can anticipate, it's that the whole album is going to go through different moods and different. It's going to take us in different places, and so I'm really looking forward to hearing what the rest of the album is like. And I hope they keep this streak going. I mean, this is if you want to consider obviously the passing of Alan White, but Jay Shallon percussion on the Quest, and in that sense, it's the same lineup. That then did Mirror to the Sky, and then now has done Aurora, and it's like I love to see these bands being prolific in these latter years. So bring it on, bring it on.
hmm,
How do you think about just the sonically how the whole production of it, um, the mix. Would Okay.
yeah,
I will say
good.
tonight was actually the first time I actually put it in and I really did listen to it on these, and I gained a real appreciation for it listening to it on good headphones. It does sound really good. And you mentioned Billy's bass, his bass work, Jay's drumming. I mean, musically, it's a really powerful track, even though there are elements of it that we've already covered. So, uh, yeah, okay. I don't know. I mean, there you go. It's growing on me. It's a little Disney, but I don't hate it. I do like it. Bring it on. That's my that's my final assessment.
Yeah, I agree. I look forward to the rest of the record.
Cool. All right. Well, on that note, if you are a Yes fan, and by that, honestly, we mean a Yes fan that's pretty accepting of the fact that they have, this newer lineup. Um, with all due respect, if you're one of those folks that says it's not Yes without John Anderson, the last album with John Anderson was in 2001, right? Magnification is 2000. That's 25 years ago. So, you know, maybe there's somewhere else to spend your time if that's your frame of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But if you're a fan of the current lineup of Yes, and you have thoughts about this tune of your own, you want to share them with us, we'd be interested in finding out what you think. Brent and I are also, as I said earlier, part of a little creative unit called Underlords of the Overworld, and we have a new album out of our own. It's
We do.
partly instrumental and partly non-instrumental songs with lyrics and stuff. It is called
With
Smaller Than Death.
truncated lyrics because
Yes.
we're mindful of the being. We don't want to be overly wordy.
Yeah, we try not to be overly wordy. And it's all recorded with real instruments, no AI at all. So if you're interested in supporting independent artists, I think we are right now averaging about 10 listeners on Spotify. So check it out.
Maybe we can hit 15.
Maybe. But if you're looking for something to check out, feel free to check out Underlords of the Overworld on Spotify or your favorite streaming service.
You
We
know, I
sound,
like it. I
we
like it.
sound,
I think it's the best record we've done. We don't sound like Yes.
no, any lineup of Yes
No,
at all, which is cool. Okay. I don't know. I got nothing else, man.
no, we're good. I think this is a good discussion. I look forward to the record's release in June, and maybe they'll release another single before that. I don't know, but I'm excited about the record. And like you said, the stage of my life with a lot of the bands I like getting older, I just want, as long as they're cranking out music, I'm happy. And so I'm very excited that we get another Yes album. Just think about it. It's their first album was in the 60s before we
Yeah.
were even, we're still getting new Yes music in 2026. It's pretty fantastic.
Pretty incredible. So,
Yeah.
all right, folks, if you're still with us, we really appreciate it. Feel free to like, subscribe, all that jazz, and maybe we'll see you down the road.
We got plans for other episodes. We hope to see you.
Yep, we do. You know what now? I gotta find out. Where's that button? You gotta find this right button so we can stop recording. Oh, I see it. I see it. All right. Toodles, noodles.